Hey everyone, welcome back to Knuckleheads University. I'm Sabrina. If you have not watched our Welcome to Knuckleheads University, I encourage you to do that first, and then it'll make a lot more sense of what these videos are about. But I'm so excited to talk to you today about finances. So many of the things I talk to you guys about, I really don't have a personal experience with. Remember, I've not grown up in addiction. I don't have a problem with addiction, so I will never ever pretend to know what you're going through. These are just personal experiences that I've seen on the other side of being involved with addiction, as far as like being involved with someone who has an addiction and watching children go through it. So I'm just bringing my experience to you from going into the jail and talking with women for over 2 years about how to stay out of jail and also overcome your addiction. So today we're going to talk about finances, but this I actually do have a lot of personal experience with, because believe it or not, I came from a lot of debt. When I married my husband, I brought a lot of debt into our family, a lot of credit card debt, and I did not have control of my spending. And so I had a really, really hard journey for several years because I didn't have the spending habits under control. And some of the spending habits were not just about going out and shopping just because I was having a bad day. It was because we needed milk, or I was paying for groceries that week, or whatever it might have been. But anyway, regardless of the fact, it is I do know quite a bit about finances, and so I want to come to you today and give you just some advice in some sort of like a plan for you of when you do get out of jail, or if you're going into jail, when you're coming out, or if you're already out of jail and you're just stuck right now with your finances and you're feeling down in the dumps. I want to give you some hope and some encouragement. So today we're talking about finances. Now the Bible talks a ton about money, you guys. It does say in there that the love of money is evil, but it does not say that you should not prosper. Actually, the Bible says that God's children should prosper, that we're the head and not the tail. And so I think it's really important for you to remember that you are a child of God's, and He loves you, and He has plans to prosper you and to take care of you. And I believe He has plans to prosper you financially, because we need money in the marketplace. So the first thing that I would talk to the girls about is making a list of how much money they owe people. So that's your homework, is you got to make a list. You can stop the video right now and start thinking about things. And as I continue to talk throughout the video, if people pop in your mind or bills pop in your mind, you write it down on your list. So many years ago, when I was in debt, I would just have a little notebook like this, and I would put the month at the top, and then I would write all my bills and how much I owed them and what I paid that month. And then I would flip the page and I would write the month, all my bills, how much I owed, and how much I paid for the month. And I just really took it serious about getting out of debt, and I was able to get out of debt, and we are a family that is debt-free except for our home, which we're working on being debt-free from our home. And that was kind of the hard way. Now, we attend a church right now, members of Faith Life Church. I spoke of them earlier, and I love how they talk and approach money from a kingdom aspect. So I would highly encourage you guys to jump on YouTube, jump online, and find Faith Life Church, Pastor Gary and Pastor Brenda Cassie, and get their book, Fixing the Money Thing. Because just because your debt may seem different than someone else's debt, like I know you guys have fees from, you might have some jail fees, car fees, child support, just different people that you owe money to because you've taken advantage of them over the years. Yes, you need to pay back the people that you've taken advantage of over the years. I think it's really important for you guys to write that down and understand how you're going to get that paid back. And through Fixing the Money Thing, Pastor Gary and Pastor Brenda will teach you how God wants to help you get your debt paid off. And there is so much freedom in getting your debt paid off. Would you not agree? So I think finances are so important to get under control and have a plan for. So I would tell the girls, when you go to bed tonight in your bunk, make a list. Grab a piece of paper and make a list of all the people that you owe money to. So I want to encourage you to do that also. Make a list of everyone that you owe money to and just write it down. If it starts to overwhelm you, just take a deep breath, because it is overwhelming, and just know that that's the first step to realizing who you owe and how much. I would ask the girls in the jail, okay, let's talk about debt. How much do you guys owe? Let's talk about how much you owe. And the girls would be like, we owe a lot of money. And I'm like, okay, what's a lot of money? Well, they couldn't answer me because they didn't know. And I said, well, some people, a lot of money is $20,000 that they owe. Some people it's $1,000. Some people it's $500. Like, you've got to know what a lot is, right? So you've got to be able to get the truth out, put it on paper, and then start to make a plan to get these bills and these people paid back, okay? So definitely want to help you with your finances. Now, how do you get your finances paid back? How do you start the journey of being able to get this accomplished? Well, I think it's really important to remind yourself you need to have a job. And I believe that a lot of times when you are coming out of jail, getting a minimum wage job is not something that a lot of people really want to do, or finding a waitressing job, because minimum wage sounds like you're never going to be able to get something paid off. Well, at Knuckleheads, that's what we pay at first, is minimum wage, because I got to know if you're going to stick it out. I don't think people realize, as an employer, when we hire people in, there's a lot of extra cost to that. And I think it's so important for you to know that the employer is giving you a job, and that is the best thing for you right now. So if that's all that they're willing to do is give you minimum wage, then be a great employee. Work your tail off. Make sure you're doing the extra, not to just suck up, but because you're working towards wanting a better life. The Bible actually says that we work for the Lord, not for man. So being a Christian, that is something new also that I want you to know and be in your spirit with. I don't work for the man, I work for the Lord, and the Lord is blessing you with that person saying, yes, I'll give you a job. And then you're going to be a blessing to them by showing up on time. You're going to be a blessing to them by asking for extra jobs to do. In our, at Knuckleheads, we actually have a book club. And so the girls can make $20 cash for each book that they read. And they are like self-help books. There's books in there about their children. There's books in there about their personal life. There's books in there that are just fun books to read. So I love that idea. I will tell you, not many of them have taken me up on the offer. A lot of people just love to scroll on their phone during downtime, but use your brain wisely, you guys. Get in the Word, get in a book, and allow yourself to grow. So there's lots of different ways that you can make some extra money. If you're creative, you guys, right now what's really popular, it's winter time here in Ohio, is these hot chocolate bombs. And they're so cute and so awesome, and I can't make them, and so I purchased them from someone. So if you are someone who's creative and you have the ability to make something, let people know what you're making, because they do want to help and they do want to buy things for their home and for their children. You know, we talked a little bit about a job with sales, aside, or people, you guys are selling things, but you want to sell good things and healthy things. It's okay for you to have a job that you go to and then sell something on the side, as long as it's healthy for you. And I don't mean like food healthy. I mean, you know what I mean. So if you love makeup, or you love Tupperware, or you love, you know, cooking, if you love bags, if you love jewelry, it is so easy to get into a direct selling company and sell something. And then you're gonna be talking to people in the marketplace about what you're doing. And as you go along, I think it's totally okay for you to start opening up and sharing your story. Not for sympathy, not for people to feel sorry for you, but your overcoming story, your journey as you're going along. You know, people might say, like, why are you working 3 jobs? And that opens up a conversation to say, hey, you know what, I've made some bad choices in my past. I've got some things I've really got to get paid off, and so I'm willing to do what I need to do to get it done. And you don't have to go into a big, long story of what you've done and how things have gone in your life. You're just letting people know, I've got some things I got to get paid off. And there's no shame in that, you guys. I think it's so important to be working. I love having multiple streams of income. I've always worked really hard. I've always worked multiple jobs. And now that I'm older, I own multiple businesses. I didn't realize that was what was going to happen in my life. I didn't strive for that, but that was something that just was something the Lord gave to me, was being able to, what I have, I took care of. I got my debt paid off. And then my husband has an amazing entrepreneur spirit, and we've had opportunity to buy businesses, and we've restored them and been able to just do a lot with them. And so I love that. I didn't realize that was what was going to be happening in my life, but it is. And so there's just going to be doors that open for you, and financially you're going to start seeing income come in, and you're going to get excited. Now remember, It's easy to go from one addiction to the next to the next. So you are working on breaking off that addictive spirit. So if you find yourself just going 24/7 with work, and you're not taking rest time, you're not taking exercise time, you're not taking time to get in the Word, you're not taking time to go to church, then you might see a pattern of getting worn out. And when we get worn out, we start to dive into things that we shouldn't be diving into. So remember, that's another trigger for you. You've got to be really in tune with your body. And it's totally okay for you to be working, but you also have got to know when you need to take a rest, when you need to be taking care of yourself and taking care of your body, okay? So finances is actually super fun once you get on the other side of learning how to control your spending, making sure you're getting that debt paid off, and understanding that it's a process. It's not gonna happen overnight. And sometimes I do believe there are gonna be tons of favor that's going to be poured out on you, and you might get an extra bonus from your boss, or you might get an extra little bit of money in the mail from the government. I know, probably not really, but you never know what's going to show up, okay? But remember, you need to work. If you don't work, you don't eat, and it's not the government's responsibility to take care of you. And if you want to get your children back, and you want to get your life back, and you want to move forward in a positive direction, you've got to learn how to work, and you've got to know how to keep your finances in order. All right, the last thing I want to talk to you about with finances is repaying family and friends. So there are times that I'm going to tell you a quick story about myself, and maybe it'll jog your memory. It's really actually an embarrassing story, but I think it's important to tell because I want you guys to know how important it is when you have a thought that comes in your brain. More than likely it's the Lord reminding you of something, and you need to take care of that, whether it's now or later. Whatever comes to your brain as far as you owing someone money, you've got to write it down. And maybe that person doesn't know that you owe them money, but you've got to write it down. And when you're ready to face it, God will give you the strength to go and talk to that person. So when I was in my early 20s, probably, no, I wasn't married yet. So I was 18, 19. I was not in a very good, healthy relationship. I wasn't walking with the Lord, and I was working a lot. I've always been a hard worker. But I had terrible money management, you guys. And my brother owned an apartment, and he always left his window open for some reason. I don't know why. And he had a huge change jar in there filled with quarters and everything. My brother has always had great money management. He's awesome. I just have always had terrible money management. Well, I knew about the change jar, and I would always need money. So I would climb through his window, and I would dump out change, and I would take whatever I needed, 20 bucks, 50 bucks, 100 bucks. I don't even remember. I didn't even keep track of what it was. Well, when I was an adult, later, well, I was an adult then, but when I was getting back on track with getting my finances together, the Lord reminded me of what I used to do. And first of all, it's breaking and entering. Second of all, it's stealing. And I really had to be set free from that, because that was something that, even though it was my brother, it was wrong. And he didn't know I was doing it. And so I had to humble myself and go to my brother and let him know what I had done. And I said, I will pay you back. And so I came up with a plan of what I thought the Lord was telling me that I needed to pay back to him, because I didn't have a list of how much I owed him, and it was so long ago, but I was obedient to that. And I just want you guys to know that we all do things. You guys, we all get wrapped up in sin. We all get wrapped up in things that we shouldn't be doing. And when you bring truth to the darkness, when you bring light to the darkness, it really does set you free. And I believe that was one of the very last things that I needed to do to get my finances under control, was to be honest with my brother and pay him back. And I can tell you, the Lord has blessed me tenfold for what I continue to do and continue to be truthful with. So that's just a message to you. Write down who you owe, write down the things that you need to pay back, and when you're ready, God will prompt you. He'll give you grace, he'll give you mercy, and it'll be time for you to go and you make that commitment to pay that person back, okay? All right, I want to know how you guys are doing. If I were near you, I would hug you. I'm so thankful that you've been watching these videos. Let me know if there's anything that's specific that I can be praying for you about: a job, your finances, getting back on track. Just make sure you're staying plugged in. And again, if you're looking for a great financial course, if you will, Fixing the Money Thing by Pastor Gary and Pastor Brenda is an amazing place to start. I wish I had that when I was walking through paying off my debt. It would have made my life so much easier. But anyway, I love you guys. I'm so excited to continue to come to you over social media. I can't wait to hear how you're doing. I hope you have a great day and be blessed.